Hello and welcome to the Hypnosis Academy. This week I'm talking about when therapy goes bad. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So what happens sometimes, not very often, but sometimes, you work with somebody and you pull out all the stops, you give them everything that you've got, you pull out all of the tools out of your bag and nothing happens. You get to the end of the session and you say, as I always do, so tell me, how are you feeling now? What are you aware of? And sometimes they look at you in the eyes and they say, nothing has changed. I feel exactly the same. Okay? And your heart plummets to the floor and you feel terrible. You feel bad, and not only that, you feel like a bit of a failure. You feel like you failed the person. You think that the person's thinking, well, I've just paid all that money for, not all that money, but that money for that session, and that was a waste of time. Okay? And that is the way that it is. It doesn't happen very often. And I think when you come with the right intention to therapy, you really have the right intention. It's rare that that happens, but it does happen. It happens to me. It happens to me. I recall, and these were in the cocky days, by the way. That was the reason I say cocky days, because I was learning NLP, and NLP is a beautiful, beautiful system of techniques, but it does engender cockiness in people. People become cocky. What I mean by cocky, they go, I can fix that. I can help you to fix that. Yeah, you got that? I'll help you to fix that. Fear of flying? No problem, one session. You want to stop smoking? No problem. It's a bit, and obviously as time goes on and you do that, the more you do it, the more you realise that that's not necessarily the case, and that you can't always fix somebody, and you're not even fixing them. That in and of itself is a lie. You don't fix anybody. You help them to fix yourself. In fact, the metaphor that I use, the analogy is that you're a mechanic and you get people into your garage, but you never touch the car. You get them to get out of the car, to lift up the bonnet, to get inside the engine, and you coach them and you tell them what nuts to tighten up or what to change. Yeah, but you don't touch the car. So you don't fix anyone. However, sometimes we feel very, very responsible for that. And I was cocky with this person, and she had agoraphobia. Didn't want to leave the house. And I said, hey, well, we can fix that. We can fix that. So I did a bit of work on the phone with her, chatting about things, visualizing. Went round, spent an hour, 2 hours with her. And at the end she said, well, thank you very much for everything you've done. It hasn't worked, but thank you anyway. And I remember saying, how do you know it hasn't worked? Okay. Well, one of the things is we should have tried it out. Okay. We should have tried it out beforehand, and that would have been a better one. But then, afterwards you start to realize that people don't always want to get rid of the problems. Sometimes they have secondary gain, which we talked about, but sometimes what you have in your toolkit isn't the right tool for them. You don't have the right tools. It's horses for courses. Everyone's different. So you mustn't get tied up on a result, right? Don't get attached to the result. You're there and you're not a super person. You're not a super person. You're just there to help the person to see if they are ready to lift up the bonnet and change what needs to be changed to get the engine running smoothly. That's all that your job is. If you can't do it, okay, fine. Let somebody else have a go. Maybe they'll be able to find the right way of doing it. But 2 things that you must never do. One is blame yourself. Okay? And what I mean by that is saying, oh, I did something wrong, I'm no good, I don't have the right tools, etc. Right? That doesn't help anybody. And it's not true. Also, don't blame them. Right? How many times have I heard I had a resistant client? I even had somebody who said, I think I'm being resistant. Okay, it's talked of a lot, resistant clients. In fact, they do whole courses on how to overcome resistant clients. And do resistant clients exist? Of course they do. But if somebody genuinely comes to you and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that they're resistant. Maybe they're just not ready. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe they're just tentatively coming. Maybe this happens. They've been doing this for years, train tracks, doing this for years. And then you work with them and you make an adjustment. You help them to make an adjustment of 0.5 millimeter. So they're sitting there going, nothing's changed. It's exactly the same. They don't know that they've shifted 0.5 millimeter. But you shift a train track 0.5 millimeter and then you run it for 20 miles. You're going to be in a completely different place again. Okay? Often with therapy, instant therapy doesn't happen, but long-term therapy does. Long-term change does. You can help somebody just with a word, just with an idea, with a suggestion that just changes their track a tiny bit. And that's when you get, as we talked about, people that you're seeing years later who go, yeah, that problem just fixed itself. Yeah? And you think, way good. So, blaming yourself doesn't help anything. But we must understand that there is a contract between two people. You are going to do the very best that you can do, and they have to do the very best that they can to help you to do the very best. Yes, so it's a contractual thing. If one person is not behaving the way that they should, it won't work. Same if that's for you as well. If you're not doing it right, if you're doing it for the money, yeah, if you're just doing it for the money, it's not going to work very well for you. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. You won't enjoy it, that's for sure. And if you're doing it and you're terrified as you're doing it, that's going to be a problem for you as well, because your client's going to pick up on it. So there are lots of things that you can do to make sure that that doesn't happen very often, but there's nothing that you can do to make sure that it'll never happen, because it will. Okay? And we have to accept that. We are not super people. Yeah? We're not gods. We're just people with some techniques that help most people most of the time. So there you are. So don't worry too much about it. And don't think that if somebody tells you that nothing has happened, nothing has changed, don't believe that nothing has changed. So you can say something like that. They say, well, nothing's changed. You go, that's right. Nothing's changed yet. Let's just wait and see. All right, that's a suggestion. That's a hypnotic suggestion. Put the word yet, and the mind goes, ooh, so perhaps something will change. All right, I'll watch out for that. All right, there you are. I hope that helps. All right, so just keep boxing. Don't worry about it. If you get knocked down every now and again, just get back up, dust yourself off, and start boxing again. Have a lovely week. I'll talk to you all later. Love you all.